Welcome back everybody. In this video, we'll try to learn about useRef hook. UseRef hook is basically used to create mutable objects between the re-renderings of any component. And it is also primarily used for accessing and interacting with DOM elements directly. Take this an example. In this example, you can see I created a form with an input element and submit element. Let's look at it how it is looking at. You can see that here, right? So usually if I need to take the data from this, what we will do, we would write an useState hook. So useState hook will take an initial value as an empty. All right, let's try to store that into it returns an object with an two things: const, an array with an which is like an username, where I'm trying to take an username, and set username. Usually this is the way we try to write. So on change, let's try to call upon one handler which will try to read that the name which the user is trying to give us. And let me call that as an um, handler, input handler. All right, let's write that functionality over here. Const input handler. Let's create an arrow function. All right, and set username will call upon and takes the value, event over here, synthetic event dot target dot value. Let's try to log it as well for confirmation. Username. So heading back, reload. All right, you please see the console over here. I'm trying to type hello. You see that it's trying to re-render all the things. Whenever we pass some data to that, it always re-rendering the component. It is trying to log these many times how many characters you have given on the text field over here. It is trying to console the log those many times. What does that mean? It is trying to re-render the component, the single component over here, for those many times, which is not good to have. So useState hook will try to re-render the component on any single change. So we should not do this kind of an re-renderings many times, right? So what shall I do then? We'll go with an useRef hook. Comment out this. We'll try to use useRef hook, which takes similarly the initial value over here. Let me have that as initial value as a null, and it returns only a single object. Let me call that as an data, the user, whatever you're trying to give, or else username. All right, I hope this made sense. Useref hook will try to it will not re-render how many times you are trying to text in the text box. It would not re-render it. It only stores the data across all the re-renders, and to hold this we use an useref, right? So how do I do then instead of handling this on submit handler, on let's try to do with our submit handler instead of handling that with an input handler. So let's have an on submit. Right, let's have an handler, submit handler. Let's set the functionality of that. Const submit handler. Let's create an arrow function which takes a synthetic event over here. Let's try to prevent default thing as well. All right, now let's try to log the data which we have received through the username. So, but the point is here, we did not give the connection between our input element and within the use ref over here. So to give the connection, like we use an on-change event to give the connection to our set user functionality here. To give the connection, use that name over here, the ref which we have created. So ref equals username. So whenever the user gives the data on the input field, that goes and sit into the username over here. Let's look at into that. Go back, let's type hello everybody. All right, click on submit. You see that it is trying to the data has come into sit into the object called current. You need to um, destructure that current object. How do I destructure? Let's go back and let's look into that. Instead of printing the username directly, instead of printing that complete object, log it console.log username dot current. Current is an object which where it is trying to store dot value. All right, so let's look into that now. Go back, let's try to redo this. Do you see that? Let's reload. Let me give hello, submit it. Do you see that? There you go. This is one of the, you see, we did not re-render the component these many times. We passed it the 5 characters as an hello. We did not re-render that for the 5 times. We rendered only for the 1 time. It's trying to persist the data between those many re-renders, please. All right. This is one of the use case of the use ref. The important use case is how do you use ref is also used for accessing and interacting with DOM elements as well, which is direct one. So how do I do that? So let's go back to the code. The second use case is something, whenever I reload this page, I want this button. I mean to say the cursor should be on focus. You might have noticed in many applications on Facebook or Instagram, whenever you are trying to log in, the that blinking one will be always all on the username thing. So we wanted that to be done. So I should not click on it, but it should come, right? So this is direct manipulation on the DOM. So to do that, what I'll do, let on loading my component. So let me use the user effect. It is used to perform the side effects. So use effect, or it's an equal. All right. So what I do, username, the name which we try to give over here, that ref one, username um, dot current dot focus is one of the functionality available on it. All right. This is the way you can focus it also. All right. So let's check it out. Go back. Um, use effect is not defined. Okay, I think I did not imported it. Give me a second. Use effect. It got imported here. Go back. 1 sec. Do you see that? There's some blinking over here. And you type that one. All right. So the other use case, you can also, as I said, you are directly accessing the DOM elements here. You can also pass the direct data to this. How do I do that? So on focus, after focusing, try to give username dot current dot value. You can pass some data as well. Some random data I'm trying to give, some data. All right. So let's do that. Go ahead. Do you see that? Or else let me reload for better understanding. Do you see that? Some data has been already come to that. But it's an make sure this kind of things should not happen unexpected things. If you are really in need of that, please do that. Whenever you are trying to type some data over here, that should come and see this. It should not get it should not get appended to the data the user is trying to give. All right. Why did I use then? Just to show that I can directly manipulate the DOM elements. So basically, use ref hook is used for to store the to persist the data among the many re-renders of a single component. And also, it is also used to manipulate and access the DOM elements directly. So not to sum up, not to render when the state changes. Examples can be stopwatch. The stopwatch, every seconds it try to change. We can use their use ref. I'm manipulating DOM like autofocusing, which I have used here. Play and pause videos, in a YouTube videos or any videos on a browser. If you click on the pause, if it is playing, if you click on the pause, it should not re-render that component, right? It should not change anything there. It should not re-render. If I click on the play again, I should not uh, re-render it. So in those kind of in situations, use ref is more helpful. I hope that made sense, everybody. See you in the next video.